friends. Today I'm going to be reading you a nonfiction story, which means it's a story that's giving you facts instead of having characters. I'm going to give you a hint of what I'm going to be reading about today. If you guessed polar bears, you're right. Good job. And my friends that are in my class that are listening to this, I want you to listen really carefully to the information so you can write me a little story about what polar bears can do, what polar bears are, and what polar bears have. Okay, so here it is. It's a day in the life of polar animals, and this one is Polar Bear. And it's written by Katie Marisco. Her name is not on the front, it's on the title page. That's the title page. Wow, and this has got a table of contents. So if you wanted to look up something in particular, you could look here in the table of contents. Like if you want to know what polar bears eat, you would go to page 12. Or if you want to know what baby polar bears are like, you go to page 20. This is the table of contents. Very handy. It's something you find in a lot of nonfiction books. What is a polar bear? Polar bears are large mammals that live near snow and ice. Mammals have hair and feed their babies milk. Oh, look at the picture of the mama and the babies. Polar bears are powerful and skilled hunters. They are predators in many polar areas. Predators are animals that hunt other animals to eat. Look at that, standing on its back legs. Pretty tall, pretty scary, actually. I think they're beautiful, but I wouldn't want to run into one. What do polar bears look like? Polar bears are some of the biggest bears on Earth. These huge predators are very strong and have 42 sharp teeth. Look at them. They don't look like they've been to the dentist anytime recently, do they? Polar bears have thick fur that looks white and keeps them warm. They even have furry paws that help them walk on ice and snow. Wow, look at that paw. Okay, so this part right here helps so they're not always slipping in the ice and snow, right? Look at the claws. Do you see the claws? Pretty amazing. Where do polar bears live? Polar bears live in the Arctic. In the Arctic, it is light all day and all night for part of the summer. See, look here. They're showing you the map of the world map there, and it's showing you where the Arctic is. Does that look like somewhere you would like to live? Think about that. Would you like to live there? And have you thought so far of anything that you can write about that they have on their body? There's been a couple of good answers. In the Arctic, it is dark all day and all night for part of the winter. This polar area is one of the coldest places on Earth. Look at that. Look at that. You're not going to find a bunch of houses there, are you? What do polar bears do in the day? In the midsummer, polar bears are mostly active in the morning and early afternoon. They wake up after sleeping on ice or in snow pits. Let me say that again. They wake up after sleeping on ice or in snow pits. Does that sound comfortable to you? Boy, could that be one of your cans? Can sleep where? Here they are. Look, he looks pretty comfortable there, right? Polar bears spend part of the day hunting for food. They catch a lot of their food around moving ice called pack ice. He or she is hunting. There's the pack ice. It's a good spot for hunting. That's another thing they can do, huh? Polar bears use their strong sense of smell to hunt seals. They also eat dead whales and walruses that wash up near the shore. Now, I wonder why they catch live seals, but they eat dead whales and walruses. Why do you think that is? Those are really big creatures, so maybe they're harder to catch. What do you think? Here's a seal. Poor seal. Polar bears will feed on almost anything. This includes everything from reindeer and birds to berries and trash. Oh, that can't be good. Oh. This is one of the things we talked about, how people impact the environment in a bad way, right? We don't want the polar bears to eat trash, or any other animals for that matter. What threatens polar bears? Polar bears are the top Arctic predators. Remember, predators are try to catch other animals. So most animals do not threaten them. Okay, so they're not scared of most animals. Killer whales and humans are their main enemies. So that's why they don't try to catch a whale that's alive, because it sounds like the whale could catch them, right? Here they are. Look at the person with the gun. That's so sad. Going to shoot the polar bear. Pollution is a serious threat to polar bears because it causes rising temperatures. This leads to melting ice, which endangers the food and homes of polar bears. Look at the poor polar bear. He's only got a little piece of ice that he's floating around on, or two of them. I guess it's the mama and the baby. They like it with lots of ice and snow. They don't want it to melt. Do polar bears live in groups? Polar bears do not usually live in groups. These mammals spend much of their time alone. Okay, so they are not like lions would hang out together. But polar bears don't. When they grow up, they hang out on their own mainly. Sometimes a small group of polar bears feed together in the same area. Mother polar bears also live with their babies for 1 to 3 years. Okay, so the babies hang out only a couple years with their mom. They don't stay with her as long as people do, right? With their moms. What do polar bears do at night? Polar bears spend quite a lot of time resting, both in the day and at night. In midsummer, polar bears often sleep or rest near the end of the day. Look how relaxed the polar bear looks. I love that picture. Polar bears sleep for about 7 or 8 hours a day. That's kind of like people. Many curl up and nap in snow pits or on blocks of ice. Oh, look at the polar bear sleeping. That's the way, if I had to see one in the wild, that's how I'd want to see him sleeping. Just because they're so big. What are baby polar bears like? Have you been wondering what that answer to that question was? Baby polar bears are called cubs. That's what bears are called when they're babies. A mother polar bear usually gives birth to 2 cubs at a time. Here, look at the cute little baby. It's like in the snow cave. The helpless babies grow bigger as they drink their mother's milk. The cubs learn how to hunt and survive on their own in just 18 to 30 months. That's really fast. If you have a little brother and sister, I don't think they could get their own food already at 18 months. That's just like a year and a half. Okay, and then here is a body map of what they have. It has their fur, their nose, mouth, and paw. So that's some great things that you can write about in your story. Hope you enjoyed learning about polar bears. Talk to you soon.